As you can see from the outfit, warm jumper, rain hat, the weather's turned in northwest Cumbria. I never quite know whether that's it and we've had our summer. Hopefully not. Well, it's that time of the year, isn't it? Things are only just starting to come to fruition. Peppers are starting, I'm picking cucumbers, tomatoes are getting big, ready to ripen. We've got all that lovely, wonderful harvest to look forward to. But our focus needs to change if we want to carry on gardening into the autumn and into the winter, and I certainly do. So I'm busy sowing my succession crops. I'm enjoying a nice early crop of beetroot. I'm picking them relatively small for pickling. I like to pickle them whole, but already I've sown my next lot of beetroot in the hope that I can get another crop before the end of summer. Likewise, I've enjoyed a fantastic success growing Morton's Magic Mix, that's mixed leaf lettuce, in a strawberry planter. I'm still picking it, but it's starting to look a little bit shoddy, not at its best. So I'll get a few more pickings off of those. And actually, I'm a little bit late with this succession sowing, but this sowing should see me through the rest of the summer. And then in a few weeks' time, I'll sow some more, and that will hopefully take me into winter in the polytunnel. And of course, all of the beds are full at the moment, all of those tomatoes, but they'll be gone relatively soon, and I'll have a load of empty space. So what am I going to grow next? Well, I've already got my leeks in a holding pattern, I call it. So I've sown them in small trays. They've outgrown those, and now they're just bunged at the end of a raised bed. They're all squashed in, not doing great, but they're alive, and they'll sit there like that quite happily. I've got a raised bed at the moment that's got some cabbage in it. The minute I harvest the cabbage, the leeks are going in. Some of them will remain in the holding situation because they're destined for the polytunnel. I absolutely love leeks. It's one of my favourite harvests. I'm not a fantastic leek grower. They never grow particularly giant, but I love to harvest a lot of them, small and tender, and that's enough to enjoy a load of fresh leek, but also then pack the freezer with a few bags to enjoy through the rest of the year. Kale is another one of my favourite crops, and here I've sown a selection of different kale, and that's going to go in the polytunnel. Had a bit of a carrot disaster this year. Nothing did particularly well. Had a failed carrot experiment. Started it off really early and thought I'd try transplanting it. Now, most people will warn you carrot doesn't like to be transplanted, and other people have said they've had success with it. I tried and it was a disaster. The tops looked fabulous, and I was thinking, yeah, they're going to have some good carrot here. And I think I showed in earlier videos, they started growing and then they just stopped and started spreading out and curling around and stopped putting on any more growth. I'm going to have another go. It's getting a little bit late for outside carrots for me, because up in northwest Cumbria, up near the Scottish borders, have a slow season. But I've grown these before and they overwinter really well outside, and it's Chantenay red. So it's not a long carrot, it's the dumpy little carrots, but they have a lovely flavour. I'm going to give these a go. I've been up to my compost heap, found some relatively nice compost, and I'm going to try these in buckets in the polytunnel. I'm just going to liberally sow them and then thin them out, and that way I might get, it's old seed, so I'm going to pop quite a lot in and then thin them out. So just sprinkled some of those on top. They don't need a lot of covering. Sprinkle some of shop bought compost on the top. Homemade compost, an old packet of seeds. If it comes to nothing, what have I lost? The worst case scenario is they all germinate and they're going to be an absolute nightmare to thin. Give them a good watering. Hopefully I'll get a few of these done and we'll just see. It's all about experimenting. Take those out into the potting shed in a moment. Still got loads of purple sprouting broccoli. Really surprised. This was sown absolutely ages ago, and I'm impressed at how it'll just sit in a small pot and wait. I mean, eventually it'll have enough and give up, but I think I'll still have these ready to pop into the polytunnel when some space comes clear. And I've got my composting planter, and if you don't know what that is, take a look at my shorts feed. It's DIY, rain barrel, holes cut in the side, mesh centre where you fill it up with home scraps. It creates a compost, and it's fabulous for retaining water because the compost in the the compost in the middle creates a really moist inner to the pot. And for the first time this year I grew a really nice cauliflower. I've never grown a nice cauliflower before in the ground, so it's a thumbs up from me. But I think I will pop these along with a little bit of kale in some of the other holes, and I'll do that in another video. Just turned over my calendar, my Polytunnels calendar, so I'll share with you what it says. Obviously it's talking about going on holiday and what a nightmare watering is, and don't I know it, my watering has got so much more intense since having the 12 by 15 polytunnel, so much so that I'm actually planning a new IBC tank. I've got one of these fabulous Bosch pumps that are they're rechargeable, and submerge them into your rain barrel, press a button and you've got a beautiful power hose. But it's currently in quite a small standard size rain barrel and it uses water really quickly. So I'm going to get another IBC, and then I'm going to work out a way next year to be able to divert water all over the property. I've got a tremendous amount of rain capture, but it's all over the place, which makes watering a nightmare if I'm doing it by hand. I'm having to cart a wheelbarrow around and watering cans, and 3 watering cans goes nowhere in the polytunnel. At the moment, if you're growing undercover like me, there's a range of stuff that you can consider growing and sowing. So beetroot, broccoli, carrots, cauliflower, cress, dwarf French beans, that's another thing. And I've gone on about this loads. I had a nightmare this year trying to germinate beans. It didn't really get any better, and my last sowing produced a few more successful germinations, but by and large it's been pitiful. So as a last ditch attempt, I went round yesterday direct sowing a load of beans. One, I'm not completely comfortable that the beans I've got are good. Something's going wrong because I'm not getting good germination, so I thought, well, I'll just literally chuck them in. I've chucked them in all over the place, along with some pole beans as well. We'll see. So you can still just, if you hurry, get your dwarf beans in. Fennel, kale, kohlrabi, lamb's lettuce, mizuna, onions. I'm gonna sow some more onions because I've had mixed success. The Globo, Globo onion, I'm growing the open pollinated variety, the heritage variety of that, and it's the large one. That's actually looking to produce quite a nice bulb, but unfortunately I only sowed a few of those in ideal conditions. Potatoes, I'm going to sow some more potatoes now, and the idea is to have those potatoes for Christmas Day. Radish, rocket, spinach I've got, spring cabbage, strawberry, Swiss chard and winter lettuce. Okay, that's it for today. Take care.